So up until now, when we were talking about Codename 1 applications and about the theme, this was mostly abstract. As you can see, the project is expanded here, and you'll notice two files. One of them is the TTF file, which is the font file that we used in order to implement the image icons. And we can essentially install several fonts and do several things of that type. And the second file of interest here is the theme file. Now we can double click this and it will open the designer tool, or we can right click and open res file. And the designer tool allows us to do lots of things in Codename 1. So this is the designer tool, and the base theme of the project is this. And a theme is very much like a CSS file. This one is very simple because we don't have many custom themes here. But the first one is the toolbar, which is where we store the toolbar elements. And as you can see, it doesn't define almost anything other than the transparency, which is set to 140 out of 255. And that creates a sort of semi-transparent toolbar effect when it shows on top of the image viewer. And you can see the toolbar label, which is the second style we have defined here. And it's got more things in it. It's got the center alignment, it's got the font, it's pointing at the actual image font, and the font is defined in to be 4 millimeters. Notice this is millimeter size, which is very important for scaling the font properly for different devices and different DPIs. This derives from button, by the way. But notice that we override the border to be empty, so the button won't interfere. We can also add additional styles with all sorts of things, like we can add a new button style, and we can define a border using an image border wizard, which allows us to cut a 9-piece border like this. There's lots of things here. I won't go into them. It's a pretty complex tool, and there's lots of how do I tutorials that go into them. We can also define lots of constants here. We can define localization for the project. And one of the interesting things that I've discussed earlier is the multi-images. As you can see, this is the thumbnail PNG that we mentioned earlier, that I mentioned is a multi-image. And as you can see, there's a version of it for every single resolution. Now, we didn't do each one of them. We just added one of the resolutions and the image quickly, add a multi-image, and it automatically scales that image to the different resolutions based on the base resolution size. And that's really useful to work with when we're dealing with lots of images. We also have the GUI builder right here, but since this isn't a GUI builder project, there's nothing here, obviously. So I hope this clarified some of the vague sections we've had in the course of this workshop, and I hope this is now clearer.